Hello and welcome to Post-Production Lab for Advanced Studio. This lab session is all about visual effects, and we're going to use some really good tool with visual effects artists use. For example, rotoscoping tool. We're going to go on Mocha as well. That's a new package to work with. We're going to use Mocha for motion tracking, and we're going to do something like this. So this is a new kind of a sequence which was uploaded. It's called the house sequence, and all your footage is on your shared area, and I'll mention where to go to grab your folder. So if I play this back, okay, so that's like a house, a normal house footage. But what we're going to do, we're going to convert that into something very quite old looking as well. We're going to change the windows. We're going to change a bit of paintwork, put some extra trees there, change the whole cloud. And how we do that? By rotoscoping and by motion tracking using the Mocha. So if I just play this back, the one which I did, something like that. As you can see that I've got some trees there, rain coming, and I've got some 3D curtain happening here. What we can always do is think about how we can achieve something like that. I think I over exaggerated the house. I'm sure we can clean a lot of plates with that. These plates could be cleaned as well more. Of course, it can be intended more and used more color correction as well on this actual footage, but we'll go step by step and we'll see how it goes with achieving something like that. Okay. Right, start with the name of the folder will be Compositing Decay into Architectural Footage in After Effects Rotoscoping. So basically what you really be looking at is this folder. Just download this folder from your shared area to shared local and just rename that. Just put your initials there as well. Okay, start with, I've got all this kind of footage here, and this is the master file as well. If you do may wish to see what I've done here as well, you're more than welcome to see different effects what I've used. So I've got all these pictures here. I've got so I've got this kind of broken kind of window, some curtains there, and it's all downloaded from Google Images. I've got this brick there. So these are all plates which we are going to be using to create that kind of atmosphere of the house. The house is kind of broken down, and use that window. It's really down to you what you want to do. You're more than welcome to go online and find some more footage as well, which you're more than welcome to do so. Again, a bit of decay, a bit of green there, some cement work, some cracks and stuff we can look at. Some clouds are here, some real-time clouds which are going to make them move like a motion. Okay, I've got this PNG tree there which you're going to use, and we carry on and on. But for now, what we're going to be doing, if I do a right-click, import multi-files, and multi-file, what we're looking at your house raw sequence. So let's bring that in. Okay, so once I've done that, let me just cancel that. It doesn't want to do more. If I just kind of bring this down here, it automatically detects how what aspect ratio the project has to be, so you don't have to worry about creating a new project. As soon as you get your image or footage, just drag it onto your actual timeline and it will automatically detect what the aspect ratio is. So if I just play this back, okay, so I'm happy with that. So what I can do even to just save more time, I know because that's one image, it's not a static image, so I'm going to just bring this work of area to end somewhere down here. So let's say on the 20 frame, and the reason why I'm doing that is just because it will all the rendering process, all the saving process will happen quite quickly, because if you start rendering every time I've done something here, it will start rendering to the whole footage. What we're going to do is just only do a little tiny footage, and then automatically it will detect the whole a whole 25 frames per second as well. Okay, so if I just kind of play this back, and I'm happy with this. Right, so let's go and start using a tool called rotoscoping. And what it does, it's basically, I'm going to double click on this house first, and remember that you're always working with layers. You're not going to work on your composition or your footage, because composition is something where you have all your master scenes. So we're going to work as an individual layer, which is here, and use the rotoscope tool, and you can see that I can see this circle there. I can even bring it, I can increase the brush and decrease the brush as well by pressing the right key and command. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'll do, I'll simply scribble down there, scribble here, keep going. Okay, I want to come back now. Let me just undo that. Sorry, scribble here. It's fine. And let's get rid of that. So what I'm doing is just simply scribbling on the actual house itself, and it's automatically detecting the edges. Okay, so you can see that I've got a good edge there. These edges needs to be on the top. Let's go there. There we go. Slightly indent there. Let me just try that again. There we go. I'm pretty much happy with this. Here you can see, if I zoom in, the actual footage, let's go into the zoom tool. What's happened here is you can see that my selection has come up a bit because of the tree and stuff. If something happens like that, let's go back on the actual selection tool and press, while you're on your rotoscoping tool, press on the Alt key, and you can see that now it's without Alt key, it says plus, and if I press on the Alt key, it's minus, and I can just come down a bit. See that? So it's kind of polish that down. So let's polish this down as well. It's okay. I can just see things will be fine here. That looks good. Okay, because it's this maneuver has to be accurate, and if you see these lines coming above that or below, make sure it's all in line, and that will really help rotoscoping. Let's do the inner part as well. Let me just decrease the brush down. There you go. Extremely smaller, just coming down like that. If I just kind of do this, there you go. I just need to really cover this space, to be honest, so just to make sure that it's covered, and then then we can neaten that part as well. There you go. Perfect. Okay, again we can just do that. Yep, I am pretty much happy with that. Okay, if I just kind of bring that in the center. Okay, now I'm happy with this. Now what you see here is what I've done, I've selected only the house, and what the whole principle is that I don't need the cloud, I don't need the tree, and it will automatically extract my background basically. Okay, and if I just come off from here, I'm gonna just simply play this back now. And what it does, it's only doing till 20 frames, right? You see this little arrow pointing towards right. What you need to do is stretch it from the 20 frames coming straight up there to the 4 minutes, sorry, the 4 seconds in. So if I just now play this back, and that shows that this part is now rendering, okay, this rotoscoping, so it's already detected. So while the camera is moving, you see the lines are moving too, so that's kind of your tracking motion as well. So once that's done, you should always keep an eye. You can always go back and start changing. Even once you've rendered it out, you can start changing the tops and stuff. Now once you've got all this, here is the main clue of how you can really make this a bit softer. With this brush here, or if you go on the effects panel, you got this feather, contrast, edges, selections. I can kind of have a bit more feather there. I can give a bit more contrast, edge shift a tiny bit so we can just see nice feathers coming in, like -3, or just make it 2 plus there. You can of course smooth stuff down as well, but let's not really worry about too much about smoothness. Let's get on with creating and extracting your sky. Okay, to start with, if I just go on my composition, and here if you can see very clearly that I've managed to extract the sky itself. So if I play this back, okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just simply test something quickly. I'm going to just do a right click on my actual project window and bring in the sky. Go to import, file, and where's my sky? Let's go back. Oops, documents. Okay, so I'm gonna just bring in my sky. Okay, just bring it down and put it the background. There you go. So once you've got the background here all set, so I've just selected on the actual house itself, but I need to select on the sky. Just wanted to show you that's what really we're going to be doing is slowly animating that sky moving towards right, maybe probably zoomed in as well. But if I play this back, as you can see, you can clearly see that obviously the sky is a static sky. Okay, but what we're going to do is now use a software called Mocha, and in Mocha we're going to actually do some motion tracking. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go animation, but before we go animation, just make sure that you select on the house sequence, do not go on the sky. So if you go animation and track in Mocha, so once you have opened Mocha, you'll actually see house row sequence, your location, importing clip, where once you've wanted to import your clip from Mocha itself, if you just play this back, say OK. Okay, so I've got my sequence there. If I play this, it's pretty much the same sequence what you're looking at. Let's go back. These are all the trackers there, and okay, to start with, what I'm going to do is simply click on this X tool, which is like a selection tool, which will remind you so much of the masking tool in After Effects. But in our case, what we're going to be doing is selecting all these three windows. If I just start with the top, just go down. Okay, so hopefully you've selected your first window and named it. And what I've done, I've just created another two more windows here, two and three. They're here, so just rename them and just do the same. It's just really copying exactly what we have done here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this back. So I'm going to track forward, and you can see here that it takes time, so it's going frame by frame. And just imagine that if you're tracking like a whole lot of like 2 minutes footage, so it will definitely take time. So please be patient. Once it's tracked, and what's doing is basically analyzing the images around white and brownish scales. So obviously these were quite dominant, so that's how basically tracking works. and we're going to select these trackers, and we're going to export the data of these window selection onto After Effects. Okay, so we have selected and we have created 3 different layers, and I can select on them, and you can see that they are switching in between from each other. So now we're going to actually export the data. So I'm going to select on window 1, export tracking data, and just make sure that you always select the right bottom one, After Effects transform data, position, scale and rotation. Select that and then copy to the clipboard. Let's go here on After Effects, and what we need to do is create a empty layer and a null layer. So we're going to bring all the data and paste it on the null layer. So if we go to layer, new, null object, and I'm going to just say window 1. So let me just rename this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is simply select this layer and edit and paste. Okay, and we can see clearly that my tracking is all set to window number 1. And if you do the same for these 2 windows, so if I repeat this process again, let's go on Mocha, let's click on this now, or let's go number 2 actually, and let's go to export tracking data, copy to the clip, coming here, and then create a new null again, new null object, and then I'll just put window 2, and I can just simply paste. Make sure you paste that. There you go. Window 2 is ready for us, and let's do the last one. 3, export data, clip that, and let's new win. Okay, so if I play this back, you can see that the house is still moving on its own, and the sky needs to be connected somehow. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is just make sure that I'm going to just click on the sky and go to the parent, make that sky as a parent, just bring it to window 1, and you can see that I've just simply connected. That's how simple it is, because I know that the attachment is there. Okay. Right, so once you've connected all your windows with the actual parent with the sky, so that the whole footage can move while the camera is moving as well, so that there's no kind of still picture in your footage itself. So now move to Photoshop, 5 minutes in the whole house, put in decay, got some footage from Google, you know, some walls, some windows, some roofing stuff. So if I take you through my Photoshop, what I've done, if I just come off from everything here, if I just do only 1 or 2, I'm sure you guys would be able to know this. So, right, so go to File, Open, and I'm going to just get a window. I've kind of downloaded this from Google, and if you have any more ideas with putting windows together, just Google some more windows. But I've got this window if you do wish to use. So just to right click, and first let's duplicate this, duplicate layer, and when it says background copy, broken window, I want to make this duplicate on my home Photoshop document, which is here. Okay, and I'll say OK to that, and I'll move on to here, and I've got it there. Just make sure that you always save as a PSD document, because of you'll be working on individual files as well. So just go to Edit, free transform first, just bring that down, just kind of press on the shift key, so that if you want the proportions not to go high Y, if you just do that, it will just go all the way. So if you just press on shift, all the proportion will be at the right exact proportion. Once that's done, let's go to edit, free transform, transform and distort. So just gonna bring that down here, somewhere there. Okay, and that's how I've done all my 3 windows, by just going and making illusion that it's basically the shot is an angle. So that's how you can kind of learn how we can kind of bring this. We can just kind of widen that a little bit, somewhere there. So that it's kind of, if you are struggling with just doing it like manually like that, you can always go and optimize this right down somewhere, so you can actually see what's happening to match the window itself. So if I go back on my moving tool, I can see that that's pretty much it. I think we've matched it nicely. Okay, so I can just go out there and now go to multiply, and I can see that I've got my windows right there. I can try using color burn. Maybe color burn is too burned out. Try using screen. It's all about trial and error here. It's really, you need to start experimenting with what's the best blending mode you can lay out. So I think overlay is best blending mode for you right now. So if I just kind of go to free transform, just kind of bring it up. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I can then go to my rubber tool, just open the feather, open the brush a little bit more, and let's kind of see if I can. Okay, so if I just don't optimize that, make sure that that's there, and then start working on blending out this. Okay, so I'm pretty much blended there. I'm pretty much happy with that. And then you move on to do the same for others, like how I have done. If I just click this, so that's all done in the same way how I was showing. The second thing which I did was I kind of had the roof here, so you can see that roof up down here. Again, the same principle, using the distort key and just bringing it together. Let me just bring in the roof for you. Just go to File, Open, and where's the roof? There you go. So the roof just came in just like that. So again, right click, duplicate layer, and then open it in my home PDS file. Bringing in here, I've got the roof there, and again I can just go to free transform, just bring it down a bit more, so it's same size, somewhere down. I'll be pretty much happy with that. If I just kind of double click there, now I can go to edit, transform, and distort. So you just bring this down somewhere, starting from this point and there. Okay, and then of course you can just overlay that. You can really kind of improvise that how you want to bring it to closure. So you can optimize the image. You can make it a bit more transparent look as well. Just going to bring that down a bit and have the overlay again. So it's kind of nicely blended out. So if I just kind of do a bit of a rubber tool there, just to kind of blend it out a bit more, so that it's kind of doesn't. There you go. So kind of too much blended out. Let me just do it, optimize that blending mode a bit more. There you go. Right, so I'm pretty much happy with that. So again, it's the same thing what I did. I'm going to just delete that because I've got it done already there. The last thing which I did was just to put like a really wall there. It was just literally a picture of a script wall. So if you just go on the crack, that was the picture there, which was implied to this this film itself. So if I just kind of work on that, we just kind of let's remove everything what's there already, and we got all that. What I would do is I would remove some of the wall from here, just to kind of soften that bit. You can see that the optimization is quite low there, so it's kind of really soften that bit. Again, from the top here as well, I can just soften this bit there, so it's not quite obvious. So it's kind of okay. And now if I just kind of just um, bring in my tools there, I can, that's overlay, actually it's got soft light there maybe, yeah, there we go, so we can see some work happening there. Again, I can really carry on and on with this production, but I think the main principle is just to understand how the layers work with After Effects. If I go to File and now save this document, okay, let's start. Let's go to File, Save As, and I'm going to just save it all right on my home PSD file and replace that. That's fine. Say OK. Let's move on to After Effects. Right, so once you've opened your After Effects, I've still got, if I play this back, I've got the whole sequence moving now with the clouds and with the house. So if you just made the document for in Photoshop, so if I just go to File, if I can even just do a right click here on the actual project itself, right click, import multiple files, because we're going to work with multiple layers now. So if I just open my house PDF document, which is here, okay, that, and editable layer style, that's fine. I'm going to add layers, so just cancel that. So I've got all my house as a sequence. If you just double click on here, you can see that all my background, everything is all layered off. So if you just take the eyes off from all of that, firstly what we're going to do is get rid of the background, which you don't need the background, we just need only the actual full house there. So this is what we are after. Okay, just make sure when you're rendering it out, we don't need the background switched on. Right, there's so many ways to move all the files into the actual master file, because that's where we're going to look at all our production, how the house looks, and what kind of opacity we want to give to each window, the walls and stuff. Because remember that you can still use blending modes in After Effects itself, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Let's go on house here, and then we got all these backgrounds there. The best way, which I find, is just copying it all. So if you just press on the Shift key, apart from your background, I'll just simply do Command C, Apple C, and then go on Master, where all your windows are. Just make sure that you select the fourth layer, which is like your house layer or something, you know. But if you just click on that, you can see that that's my house layer, and then you just paste it there right above it, so you can see your house is right below, and then all your work is here. The other thing, what you can even do as well, if you feel that, you know, it's too busy here, the whole I don't want to make this very busy, you can actually combine that into a composite mode. If I just select all, do a right click, and then I can go to pre-comp, and I'll say house effect or something. Okay, if I just click on that, and that's one, and then you can bring that over. But my suggestion is always go through working with layers, because then you can have all your blending modes and everything piled up as well with it. So if I just click on one of it, you can see that all my blending modes are there. It's all set for you. Again, if I just play this now, watch very carefully what's happening here. So if I play that, it's basically, it's not connected at all. You can see all the windows are still not connected, and there's a huge problem. So what we can do, again, we know that these windows are parent, so I can just simply go on every individual layer. So that's my layer number one. Okay, so I can just simply connect it to any window. I can just start doing the connection to the background. Okay, once all you've parent, and what I've kind of added is, if I just kind of take the rain off, and I'll show you what how you brought the rain in. But I've just added some trees as well. So if you go and go in the folder and just kind of put the trees right at the back, and I've obviously connected them as well. So if I play them back, see this, it's nice, smooth kind of transition there as well. What I've even added is the curtain here, which is quite good. So if I kind of this curtain was done on Cinema 4D, and I'm sure you guys can tackle that on actual Maya itself. So I bought this curtain in. If I just kind of double click on this curtain, this is what the curtain looks like, and then you can obviously optimize that to its own kind of size and stuff. So, okay, and once I've kind of created a null object, just going to effects, sorry, layers, new, and solid. So once you create a solid, you can just drop in any effects like rain, and the way you find all your effects, all your dynamics are in effects, and then and then you just bring it down to, so basically your rains, your bubbles, your particles and stuff. And really it's all new world when you start exploring all these particle effects and stuff. At the moment we just use the rain effect. We just bring it in here and just kind of play that back. And of course you can have how many drops you want, the size of the rain, the depth of the rain, the speed of the rain, or which way the wind's blowing. All that is, it needs to be considering. Okay, so once the final thing, what you can do is making sure that you are rendering out as full 30 frames. So if you just kind of bring that back right to the end of your frame, just let it play once, so it renders out nicely the whole lot. So obviously we'll kind of trigger in. This is coming closely. So once that's all rendered, if I just stop it there anyway, so you need to go, just go, make sure you go to add to render queue to make a QuickTime movie. Once you're at to render queue, let me just delete all that so that doesn't really confuse you all. So this is my master. If I just go back on here, so if I just go to edit, add to render queue, and just press on best settings. It's all best full. It's a 120, 80, 720. That's perfectly fine. Say okay to that. Go to lossless, and lossless is QuickTime. What you can do is making sure you are on QuickTime, RGB, million colors, and then you just put your output. Not yet see, so just make sure you put it on the desktop. Let's say I'll put master 1, master, say okay, save, and then I'll have to press render to render it all out. Okay, hopefully this tutorial really showed you how the actual rotor brush worked. A bit of new software which we learned was the Mocha, where we kind of tracked our windows and used the geometry to cut and paste it onto our null effects to basically create all the null windows and stuff. Okay, so hopefully this tutorial was useful.